Hey, so I'm going to do a weekly assessment. I did just send you one not that long ago, but I just want to recap a few things. So, I normally do a Loom video, but I can't really access my computer that easily right now. So, bear with me, and I'm just going to do a video voiceover. Okay, so great job logging all of your stats. As you can see in your pictures, you can already start to see a difference, which is amazing. So seeing everything side by side over the weeks and over the months, you actually see the changes. So even the littlest bit of change is a huge victory. So, and your weight is already decreasing, which is good. And sometimes you'll see a plateau during certain weeks and stages. And that doesn't mean that progress isn't being made. It just means that there's a lot of things changing with body fat versus muscle inside of your body. But the inches are still lowering, which is good. So don't get too fixed on the scale, because you could have weeks that where things won't change, but things are still changing, basically. Okay, so great job on your steps. You're at about like 8,000 a day, which is awesome. So one thing I wanted to mention is that your core is a tell-all. So when you do the waist measurements, it's super important to do these, because your core is a tell-all to anyone's body fat percentage. So when your core is changing, that means your body weight is changing and your body fat percentage is changing. So whether it's up or down, your measurements and pictures will be showing what's happening. And your core has gotten smaller, so that means body fat percentage is changing. That's amazing. And also your biceps, like your arms, are a good indicator on things changing as well. But definitely that waist is going to be the number one thing to pay attention to. So great job on doing your macro logs and your measurements and photos and weight. So I'm going to go through a food log real quick. So you hit about like 2,200 calories, I'll say, which is fine, totally fine. Especially right now, we want to eat enough so we can build muscle and recover and fuel ourselves and repair and replenish our bodies. Eating low calorie isn't going to be able to do any of those things. So actually, I mean, we'll never, ever, ever go below like 1,700 calories. If you have, say you had around 2,200 calories, that's fine. So I want you to think of your calorie range more so as a range, not just 1,800, more so like 1,800 to 2,000 calories. But let me just back it up real quick before I jump ahead. Okay, so you had 107 grams of protein, 164 grams of carbs, and 78 grams of fats. So you got over 100 grams of protein, which is awesome. Anything under 100 grams, then that just means protein is way too low and that your usually fats are way higher, so the macro ratios are way off. But one thing you could have done with your foods to better hit your macros, which your macros were pretty good. They're not bad, but this is a great way to see just where you can readjust some things a tiny bit to make a big difference. And great job fitting in your wine, because wine is a zero fat carb. So it's kind of like fruits and things like pretzels and Twizzlers, which aren't so nutrient dense, but they're still zero fat carbs instead of being a high fat carb. So good job fitting in your yummy, yummy treats that you like. So sometimes in the beginning phases, it's best to not cut out healthy fats, but really, really pay attention to the portion sizes and how many in a day, because healthier fats are make it really easy to go over in calories and fats, because the fat grams are higher calorie per gram. So a small portion of a fat dense item is a lot of calories and high fats. So just be really conscious of the portion size and being accurate with it. And sometimes we might just need to maybe cut one of the healthier fat dense items you had in your day. Not all of them, but mostly just paying attention to the portion sizes. Because sometimes we could have two teaspoons of peanut butter, but it was really 3 because our tablespoon or teaspoon was, overflowing and overloaded. So it's really more than what we think, but it's really easy to be off on the portion sizes and to just, include too many in our day. But it's definitely very, very good to get healthy fats in your day, especially as a woman. You don't want to skimp on your healthy fats, and it's really good for your hormones and everything. So, just a quick run through on some tips that could have been changed up with your macros. Like I said, you did a great job. So you could have added in another slice of bread if you wanted. Your carbs weren't extremely high. You had room to up those a little bit. And more of a leaner carb. So things like fruit, things like a slice of bread is pretty low fat. And from all of the healthy fat items you had in your day, with the peanut butter and the cheese and the nuts, maybe I would have consumed all of them and maybe just cut out one of those fat dense items. And or just reportioned it to where you had one serving instead of 2 of that item, and that makes a huge difference. You could have added in 1 or 2 leaner protein servings to up your protein, and then it would have been fabulous. It would have been great, like just perfectly on point. But overall, that was a great job. There's always ways to tweak things and readjust things, and that is my input. But great job. I loved seeing your side-by-side pictures. This is like the most exciting part of my job, is seeing the side-by-sides, because it just shows so much of what's going on and we don't realize it day to day. So over the course of the months, you can see the side-by-sides of when you started and then the current week. So it's kind of cool. So that's November 15th to December 13th. So basically a month. Great job so far. Things are changing and progressing beautifully. If you have any questions, just let me know, but I'm going to wrap it up.